Believe it or not, some people lie. They lie in different ways and they lie for different reasons. But how are you going to know whether someone's lying or not and why they're lying? Now, you can watch all of the videos you like on human body language and the little signs and tells that someone perhaps is being less than honest. Some will tell you that if they look down, then they're definitely lying, and up, that they don't know what they're talking about. Up to the left or up to the right, whichever one it is, depending on who you talk to, and they're making up what they're saying. They're being creative. But these are not always true, they're not always the case. So I'm going to discuss two things in this video. First, a real life example of a company lying to somebody. Now, I'm not going to name the company because I'm not interested in defending an unmeritorious defamation suit, but I believe that the point is worth getting across nonetheless. And secondly, how the court deals with somebody not telling the truth. Now, it's worth bearing in mind that the court doesn't routinely make a finding of fact that someone is lying. Moreover, or more usually, that the court will prefer the evidence of one party over another. Now, there are certain times when the court will make a declaration that someone has lied, but that does take a little bit of a higher bar. Usually, as I say, it's just we don't accept your evidence. Now, as to the example, a couple went into an estate agent to buy a house. Lo and behold, it was an estate agent not quite being as honest as they should be, in my view, from the transcript, as you'll find out. So the broad situation is that this couple was buying a house and the seller of the property, the vendor, was going to gift around £1,000 towards the legal costs of the buyer of purchasing the house. That's not the dishonest part, and it's not the vendor that was being dishonest in this example. What follows is the exact wording of the conversation that was recorded by the buyer so that they could refer to it later. And I'm bringing it to you in this video as a matter of public interest, so that if you are told something along these lines, you can watch out for it. The conversation went as follows.
If you elect to use your own solicitor, those costs then are out of our control. But because the contract with us and them says, and the vendor will gift towards the purchaser's legal fees, if they then become onerous and we're not in control of them, effectively, if your legal fees went to £15,000, they'd be liable for that £15,000 bill.
How would they know?
Because on the memorandum of sale, it says,
but if it's just towards legal fees, it's not.
They paid for the legal fee, yeah. It's towards the legal fee, not the stamp duty, not the search, anything else.
Now, ultimately, the estate agent referred to a contract between them and the vendor. Obviously, they've instructed the agent in the sale of the property. There may well be an agreement where the vendor was gifting a certain amount of fees towards the purchaser's legal costs in the region of £1,000. But in all of my years of buying and selling property, in my view, the estate agent was simply trying to retain control of the overall sale between the vendor, which was their client, and the buyer that had gone in to purchase the property. There's a very good reason for that, but it was done so dishonestly, in my view, because the very good reason for it is the estate agent had an in-house legal team. So if they had control of both the sale and the purchase of the property, and they had a different conveyancer working on both sides of it, then of course they have control of both ends of the sale. They can more quickly communicate to remedy any problems and potentially even overlook some problems if I'm being uncharitable. Now, obviously, the estate agent will be trying to use their own team because they want to speed things up. And there are also other reasons, such as they will know the buyer's buying power and they will know exactly what the buyer can afford. So if they can afford more, then they're not going to dig their heels in with the seller to try to get them to accept a lower amount. So the more that they know about the buyer and the seller, the more easily they can close the deal and make their money. But you absolutely cannot be forced to use their teams, their mortgages, or anything else. In fact, there are lots of examples online, I will link one in the description below, of estate agents trying to force potential buyers into going in to see their mortgage advisors so that they can take all of their financial information, assess their buying power, so they will know exactly what they're able to afford. So if, for example, they can afford $300,000 and they are trying to make an offer of $270,000, then if they know that they can afford the $300,000, why on earth are they going to be really difficult with the seller to accept a lower amount when they know the buyer can afford more? This gives rise to one of the biggest reasons why this shouldn't happen, which is a conflict of interest. In fact, here is another example, the full recording of an estate agent trying to get a prospective buyer to come in and see their mortgage team, even though she already had a decision in principle from a mortgage company herself. Listen to this.
How are you financing your move, moving forward?
What do you mean?
Will you need a mortgage?
Yes, I've got a mortgage already, thanks.
Okay, no problem. Who have you spoke to? Have you got an agreement in principle?
Yes.
Yeah. Is it a bank? Can I ask who is that you?
It's my own mortgage advisor.
Oh, okay. So is it a broker within another estate agent, or an independent financial advisor, or is it within a bank?
An independent financial advisor.
Fine. Okay. Fantastic. And have you spoke to any other advisors with regards to obviously comparing rates and things like that to make sure obviously you're getting the most you can and obviously the right budget?
No, I haven't.
No, would you be interested in just having that comparison? We've got a fantastic mortgage advisor here. There are a couple of benefits to you coming in as well. It's completely free to come in and see our mortgage advisor, and she's absolutely fantastic. So she's got a panel of over 19 lenders, so she will compare with all the banks and give some fantastic rates. And obviously if she can save you money, give you a bit of budget, maybe save you monthly payments, then absolutely fantastic. But another really good benefit for you is by coming in and seeing and becoming sort of what we class a really hot buyer, you come onto my Premier Buyer list. And what that allows you to do is view properties before they've even hit the internet. So if they come online and they're come on the market, and they're instructed, while the photos are being done and everything and they're waiting to go online, we can get you in to view these properties, so you can try and obviously visit these properties before anybody else does, before anyone else sees them. So that's a really good advantage. Another advantage of coming into here is our new home finder service, so it's exclusive to something only we're doing. And basically I take your Miss is looking for two-bedroom property, you give me certain roads you like, certain areas, and I'll go out there, we'll put adverts in the paper for properties in that area, we will canvass roads, I'll door knock, I'll do everything possible to try and find you your dream property. The reason we like you to come in is just really for our vendors, just so that we know that you're good buyers, and obviously just give that a little bit, that you're good to go and good to buy for the budget you've given. Would that be of interest to you at all?
If I didn't have one of those in-house mortgages, then I wouldn't be able to see those properties.
You're under no obligation to go ahead with our mortgage at all. We still ask that you come in and sit with just if you've got sort of an agreement of principle with someone else, like from any documents from your independent financial advisor, you're welcome to bring them along when you come and see her. So you're under no obligation to go ahead with the mortgage with us. No, not at all. She'll obviously do her best to try and help you while you're there. But once you've come in and seen her, even if you decide to go elsewhere, you can still take advantage of our home finder service and our Premier Buyer list. Of course you can.
I see. So if I don't see her, then I can still get on your Premier Buyers list, can I?
It wouldn't entitle you to the Premium Buyer list, no, only because, like I say, it allows us to basically check your affordability and give that security for our vendors, that's what puts you in that hot position for our Premier Buyer. So, yeah, unfortunately you wouldn't qualify for either of those services. But like I say, it's completely free to come and see her, gives you a good comparison, and obviously if you can save your money, that would be good, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I mean, what if I could say I was a cash... I mean, what if I could say I was like a cash buyer, because then you'd know if I was financially suitable. Would I be able to get on the Premier list?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Part of our process anyway, even if you were to offer on a property and you were cash, even though it maybe would be a slightly quicker appointment, all of our buyers come in and see our mortgage advisor, just like I say, for our vendor as well, to show that they are, it's basically just, if you're a cash buyer, it's normally proof of funds that we ask as where the money's coming from, and then again that allows you to go ahead. But all of our property, like if you offer on a property, everyone is seen by it's just part of our process anyway.
Is that just what you guys do, or do all estate agents do that?
That's definitely something that we do. It's just, like I say, part of our service to our vendors as well, so that we know when they offer a property and we ring up and we say, right, I've got Miss here, she's in a fantastic position, we can then back that up, that we've checked your proof of funds, we know where your money's coming from, do you know what I mean? And that by the time, we don't want to waste anybody's time by the time the offer goes through, if obviously you can't, you don't have the funds available. So it is just a service that we like to do for the buyer and the vendor to make sure that when the offer's tied up and it's going ahead, that everybody's in a good position.
Okay, but what if I was to show you like my mortgage in principle that I've got?
You can come in and see and show your mortgage in principle that you've already got. Of course you can. And obviously says, yeah, that looks great, you're in a good position, you don't have to go ahead with obviously in the meantime she will try and save you a little bit of money and show you what she can do as well. You're under no obligation to go ahead with her.
So
if you want to...
So she would have to see my mortgage in principle and how much is on it. I'm just a bit wary about, I don't really want to kind of disclose how much of a mortgage I can afford.
Okay, you don't have to bring in other paperwork. You can just let her do what she needs to do and give you some figures that way if you prefer to do it that way. I just wanted to give you that option that you can bring in what you've already been told so that you've got that comparison. And like I say, you're under no obligation to go ahead with if you don't want to. It's just, like I say, to take advantage of the services that we've got, and then it allows us to find you your ideal property as best we possibly can.
And is completely independent, or is she like attached to?
She works here for so she does her works here for us. So she'll work a really good way of coming in, and obviously, like I say, if you go ahead with the mortgage, a really good thing, especially if you buy a property through us, that it's all under one roof, so it goes a lot quicker for you and a lot more smoother. So at least you know once you've been in to see her, taken advantage of our service, if you were to go ahead with a property of ours, at least you know it's all under one roof and it's going to move nice and smoothly and quickly for you as well.
Now, just as an addendum while I'm editing this video, in case the point of the second recording was lost on anybody, the agent was effectively trying to push the buyer into getting a mortgage appointment with their own mortgage advisor so they could use their own mortgage, their own services, all in-house. So one, they could control it, two, they could control the price, and so on and so forth. However, the estate agents are required by law to pass on as soon as reasonably possible all offers to the seller until such time that contracts have been exchanged. This is taken directly from the Code of Practice for Residential Estate Agents for England, Wales and Northern Ireland, effective from the 1st of June 2019. And on the subject of offers, which is section 9, it makes it very clear that by law, you, as in the estate agent, cannot make it a condition of passing on offers to the seller that the buyer must use services by you or any other party, by the agent or any other party. You, the agent, must not discriminate or threaten to discriminate against a buyer because that person declines to accept that the agent will directly or indirectly provide related service to them. Discrimination includes, but is not limited to, the following: failing to tell the seller of an offer to buy the property, telling the seller of an offer less quickly than other offers you've received, which is specifically the case that was discussed in that recording, because this premium buyers list meant that they would be only told more quickly if they're on the premium buyers list, which is only if they use the services provided by that agent, which is both against the law and the principles within this document. Misrepresenting the nature of the offer or that of rival offers, giving details of properties for sale first to buyers who have indicated that they are prepared to let you, the agent, provide services to them. So all of that was an example of something which is against the law and something that estate agents should not be doing. Anyway, I just thought that was a useful addendum. So if you're in the position of buying a house or selling a house or whatever it might be, make sure that you check what you are being told, because sometimes they are going to lie to you for their own reasons and they're going to mislead you. Just like my first example is a blatantly misleading conversation, because there is no way on earth that the buyer was going to be responsible for £15,000 worth of legal fees just because the seller had agreed to contribute a nominal amount towards those legal fees in the sale process. So I hope you found that interesting. Please do like the video and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.